Welcome to Shakopee, Minnesota. For the first time in more than 550 days, Valleyfair is open. And there are several interesting storylines to follow today. So Valleyfair was of course closed for the entirety of the 2020 season due to the ongoing health situation. Minnesota does have stricter regulations about this sort of thing compared to some other states. That's all I'm going to say about that. But people definitely are happy to be back enjoying the rides out here today. So I go by Ranger. I'm based out of here in Minneapolis. So just to go over some of the new rules for this year, as you might expect, these actually changed. The COVID restrictions changed earlier this week. So it seemed like this park was going to be all masks all the time. And just this week, they changed it so that they are suggesting unvaccinated people wear masks inside. So if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask anywhere. And there's no official enforcement of this. So no need to bring in your vaccination cards or anything. So there are metal detectors out here as well. Pretty standard procedure these days at amusement parks. One other thing about admission is you are required to make reservations beforehand. You can't just show up. This is both for amusement park and the water park when it opens in a week. But just a little bit of background information. This is my first visit to Valleyfair since moving here about 1.5 years ago. This is only the third time I've ever been here as a guest. However, I'm somewhat of a veteran as I worked here in 2009. That's not the only piece of juicy in the loop history here at Valleyfair, though, as Clint Novak worked here. This was his first job in the amusement park industry, and he ran this exact ride here, the Monster. Clint Novak is, of course, the founder of In the Loop and the Coaster Crew. This is Wild Thing. It's the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the region. I'm pretty sure this is one of the top 10 tallest and fastest roller coasters in the world when they built it. If that's not true, just look down at the comments. I'm sure it'll be filled with angry fanboys correcting me on that one. But it's running the same as it always has. It's got a lot of light airtime. I'm very much a fan of this ride. Doesn't quite measure up to like the RMCs, some of the rides that have stronger airtime that we've seen, but it's still very smooth and running very consistently. There was a 22-minute wait for this today, 2 minutes. This is Renegade. It is a 2007 GCI wood coaster. There's a 40-minute wait for this today, 40 minutes. This is probably a majority of people's favorite ride in the park. I would say very popular. It is a little bit rougher than when I first rode it in 2009. That's to be expected, though. It's still in pretty freaking good shape, though. I've always considered this to be in the top tier of GCIs, and I think right now I have it second behind Gold Striker. This ride is certainly among the best of them, and you definitely want to come ride this one if you're a fan of GCIs. So behind Renegade here, this path is closed off. So this is as far back in the park we can go right now. This is the path that leads to Excalibur, an older Arrow, Steel Coaster, as well as Thunder Canyon, the water ride. I expect those rides to open in the next few weeks here. This is still Venom. It's the park's intimate impulse coaster. There's 2 towers on each side and a launch in between. The front tower you can see right here is curved, sends you straight up, twisting around. The back tower, it used to freeze you at the top. You would go up and then you would come to a stop, boom, there'd be a little bit of a jolt before it sent you back on your way. It does not do that anymore. So this is Corkscrew. It's an older Arrow looping roller coaster. These have a pretty bad reputation as being really rough and uncomfortable. This one, though, I would say is the best one that's still surviving from this era. It's definitely smooth by comparison. You get these nice little corkscrews, some little floater air over this little lake and the midway. Nice little finishing helix. This is actually a good ride. Definitely short, but definitely a very rideable, enjoyable experience. Corkscrew had a 10-minute wait today, 1-0. It might have been longer earlier in the day, though. This is High Roller. It's the park's old school wooden coaster. I had heard they had done some track work on this over the 550 days that the park was closed. This does run fairly smooth for an old wood coaster. It's not spectacular. It's probably about what you'd expect. There's some good moments of airtime, though, and it's longer than some of the other older out and backs. Pretty decent ride for what it is. Here's a quick look at some of the other rides the park has to offer. At the front of the park is the Minnesota Eats building. This will be a rotating exhibit featuring restaurants from around the Twin Cities, local restaurants. So right now they have Lucky's Pub. We'll show you some of the items they have here. And again, this will change throughout the season. There's a schedule posted on the website. So I'm back here by the Wheel of Fortune. The Northwoods Grill right there has one of the new food items for this year, and it is the Juicy Lucy. This is a cheeseburger with the cheese inside of the burger. This is a Minneapolis tradition here. And these are the new souvenir bottles for this year. Although they say 2020, so obviously they didn't get a chance to use these, so they're just recycling these for this year. So there's not a whole lot of meat on this, but this is actually pretty good for an amusement park burger. The bun is pretty sweet. So nearby is the Stadium Grill. They also have a new food item for this year. It's fish and chips. We're not going to get that today, but one other thing I wanted to point out here is they have a strong selection of local beers inside. So we'll show you what they've got on tap here. I'm pretty impressed. There's some pretty good stuff in there. The second new food item of the day is the Tennessee hot chicken wings. And these are not hot like at all. I think mild sauce at Taco Bell is hotter than these. That's not to say they're bad wings though. They taste just fine. They're just not very hot. Maybe we need to work on cranking up the spice up several notches. Here's one thing I definitely want to come back and try later if I get a chance. Grape, birthday cake, and s'mores cotton candy. Delicious. So it's no secret that flagship park Cedar Point has been having staffing issues their opening weekend last weekend. Some more continuing issues this week, so there is definitely some concern that there would be issues here at Valleyfair as well. It's no secret that they have been scrambling trying to hire people, offering $15 an hour to try to get people to work. And so they have staffing for the places that are open. Obviously not every place is open, not all the rides are open, not all of the food places are open. But you can see here, they are starting to get somewhat long lines for some of the drink places. This is somewhat of a Cedar Fair issue because they do have a lot of season pass holders that buy these dining plans and drink plans. So that has been an issue for several years. No different today. It's been 20 to 40 minute waits, usually for drinks and food, although that has died down a little bit as the day has gone on. So Valleyfair is selling Fast Lane this year. You can also buy this in a season-long membership. I'm not sure I would recommend it though because they are throttling the amount of people that can come into the park with the reservation system. So a couple more observations about the park. By the Extreme Swing ride here, and Power Tower Island is right here. So the park is filled to a pretty good level today. The number of people that they have reserved matches the staffing that they have, so you shouldn't expect to sit in too many lines here throughout the summer, I don't think. Also, season passes are dirt cheap this year. I think it's $75 for Gold Pass. That includes parking. Although be aware the calendar is very limited. I counted there were only 75 operating days this season. A lot of Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays the park will not be open all summer long, so definitely you want to check the calendar. But if you can come 2 or 3 times, it'll definitely be worth it for Gold Pass. And that's all I've got for you here today at Valleyfair. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be sure to come back anytime there's anything interesting going on here. There's a new Carnival Festival. Be sure to check that out. And of course, I'll be back to do the water park review shortly. There are these slides, which I've never been on. I haven't been here in a while. And of course, I am the water park correspondent for the channel. So look forward to that, and I'll see you next time. This is Ranger signing off.